World War II, a conflict of global proportions, was a war of unimaginable consequences, but it was also a war fought in the shadows. While tanks rumbled across battlefields and planes tore through the skies, there was a quieter war being waged. A war of misinformation, misdirection, and deception. The Allies understood that to defeat the Nazis, sometimes they wouldn't just need bombs and guns, they would need to manipulate the very minds of their enemies. And when it came to deception, no one did it better than the British. Operation Fortitude, one of the most successful military deception campaigns in history, would become a cornerstone in ensuring the success of D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in military history. June 6, 1944. D-Day. The largest military operation in history was about to begin. The Allies, led by General Dwight D. Eisenhower, were set to invade Normandy, France, and begin their push to liberate Western Europe from Nazi occupation. It was a do-or-die moment. A moment that would turn the tide of the war in favor of the Allies, but only if it succeeded. The Germans knew that an invasion was coming, but where? Would it be in Calais, the closest point across the English Channel? Or would it be somewhere else, like Normandy, further to the west? The success of D-Day hinged not only on the Allies' strength but also on the deception of the enemy. The masterminds behind the deception were none other than British intelligence. The MI6, MI5, and the Special Operations Executive, SOE, worked tirelessly to create a series of elaborate lies. These agencies specialized in using deception to mislead enemy forces, and Operation Fortitude would test their skills like never before. At its core, the deception plan was simple: mislead the Germans into thinking the Allies would launch their main assault in Calais, far from the real target, Normandy. But achieving this would require meticulous planning and, most importantly, plausibility. The Germans had to believe this army was real, right down to the smallest detail. The centerpiece of the deception was the 1st United States Army Group, FUSAG, which, in reality, didn't even exist. It was a fake army conjured out of thin air. The Allies wanted the Germans to believe that this massive force was preparing to invade Calais. To create FUSAG, the Allies used everything they could get their hands on: inflatable tanks, mock landing craft, and even fake aircraft. These props were placed in strategic areas of southern England, primarily near Dover, where they would be visible from the air to German reconnaissance planes. The Allies even went as far as making fake dumps of weapons, fake supply depots, and mock campsites to make the Phantom Army seem real. But the deception didn't stop with these props. The Allies created an entire phony infrastructure. FUSAG was supposedly commanded by General George Patton, a charismatic and well-known figure. But here's the catch: Patton never set foot in the field. In fact, Patton was kept in the dark about this deception, with the Germans believing he was planning the attack at Calais while he remained far from the front lines. Creating a fake army on the ground was only part of the deception. The real trick was convincing the Germans that this phantom force was truly active. To do this, the Allies turned to radio deception. They flooded the airwaves with fake radio traffic, pretending to coordinate the movements of FUSAG. These messages, seemingly coming from Patton's headquarters, detailed troop movements, logistics, and coordination for a large-scale assault in Calais. The Allies knew that German intelligence would intercept these signals, and so they carefully crafted them to appear as real and urgent communications. Even the timing of these radio broadcasts was crucial. The Allies made sure that their fake transmissions occurred at key moments, such as during periods of low German activity or after intelligence reports suggested that the Germans were focusing their attention on other areas. To further amplify the deception, the British relied on their double agents. These were spies who were working for the Germans but were secretly working for the Allies. Their mission? To send the Germans false reports about the activities of FUSAG and keep the illusion alive. Perhaps the most important of these agents was one Pugil Garcia, known by his code name Garbo. A Spanish national, Garbo had been recruited by the British and was tasked with sending false reports to the German High Command. His information was so convincing that he was trusted with major intelligence operations. Garbo's efforts were crucial in feeding misinformation about the size and location of FUSAG. His reports convinced the Germans that a massive invasion was imminent at Calais, leading them to deploy their most battle-hardened forces there. As a result, these troops were pulled away from Normandy, leaving the real target underdefended. The psychological impact of this deception was profound. The Germans were led to believe that the main invasion force was gathering at Calais, just a short distance away. They shifted troops, supplies, and equipment to the area, expecting an attack at any moment. This diversion worked, keeping German forces preoccupied with defending Calais and delaying their response to the real invasion. When the Allied troops landed at Normandy, the Germans were caught completely off guard. The invasion was not only a surprise but also much less defended than expected. The success of D-Day was thanks, in no small part, to Operation Fortitude. The fake armies, radio deception, and double agents had all played their parts in misleading the Germans and leaving them blind to the true location of the Allied assault. The beaches of Normandy were secured with far fewer German defenses than expected, and the Allies began their march across Europe. Fortitude didn't just affect the outcome of D-Day, it also had strategic consequences. By diverting German resources away from Normandy, the Allies were able to gain a crucial foothold in Western Europe, paving the way for the liberation of France, the eventual fall of Berlin. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more history breakdowns.